Eberhart. Dan, how bad does this get, first off?
Well, I think it's going to continue to get worse. You're talking about the oil bear market. Is that what you're referring
Indeed,
to?
I am. Yep.
Or
Oil
yeah.
first.
So I think what we've had, I think what we've had is just a confluence of events. I think that Saudi Arabia and Russia and the U.S. kind of all got dressed up for the Iranian production to fall, and I think that Trump has just kind of slowly let the air out of the balloon on the sanctions, so the price didn't go down, and so we just have a tremendous amount of increased supply that we don't really need right now. So there's a glut on the market.
All right, now that glut would also hit U.S. oil entities. Are you worried about that?
Yeah, no, I think if you look at since May, Russia's added 450,000 barrels a day, Saudi Arabia has added 750,000 barrels a day, and the U.S. has added about 800,000 barrels a day. And I think it's just too much oil right now. But I think that we're going to see a counterpunch from OPEC and Russia pretty soon before the end of the year.
What does that mean? That they would scale back production and try to reverse this process, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I think that there's, from what I'm hearing from my sources, there's a really big consternation in OPEC right now, with the rest of OPEC pointing fingers at Saudi Arabia and blaming them for the price decline, and they're extremely unhappy about that. And then I think also Russia wants to see the price go back up as well. So I think that now that the U.S. election is over with, and Trump, maybe needs the political cover a little bit less, I think you're likely to see Saudi Arabia and Russia, try to stop the bleeding a little bit and push prices the other way. There's a meeting in Abu Dhabi this week, and a formal OPEC meeting next month, and I think that you're likely to see some public announcements about pulling back production because of that.
There have been assurances that, oil will make its way to China, oil might make its way to other entities that could be shielded from whatever's going on here to our detriment. Do you buy that?
Not really. Yeah, I met with the U.S. this morning, or the White House administration this morning, about the Iranian sanctions and kind of the plan and the go forward and what they're looking to do. I think that the people that need certain distillates and certain specific kinds of oil have been granted waivers, these 8 countries that have been granted waivers. And I also think there's been unparalleled cooperation from the private sector in Europe and other places about complying with the sanctions and not running afoul of the U.S. Administration. So I think that you're going to see pretty heavy compliance with and a general tapering with the folks that have received the waivers to just further tighten and reduce the supply. People just, I think, don't want to mess with it and don't want to run afoul of the U.S. financial system and, interfere with their ability to transact in dollars. So I think you'll see tight compliance on what the administration is trying to do.
All right, we shall see. Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Deidre Bolton joining me right now. I do want to touch on what she's